The East has won 33. The West has won 19. As you go back over the course of this series, the West has won 3 of the last 4. Garnett with the follow.
This almost doesn't look right as we're looking from our perspective, the size differential between the two teams.
I told Mike before, it looks like a college team playing against an NBA team size-wise.
You know, Yao Ming in the introductions, as he was standing next to Tim Duncan, dwarfed Tim Duncan.
And making a 4-0 advantage. So the West with the 2 easy buckets. This is Carter. Jermaine O'Neal, Carter of the Toronto Raptors, able to knock it down.
I think the philosophy for the Eastern Conference team is one of which they want to run the ball back every opportunity they can. They know they have to make a lot of shots and probably will take a lot of three-pointers.
Kobe Bryant got the step, not able to hit on the reverse. And Jermaine O'Neal able to fire one up. We're talking with both Rick Carlisle and Flip Saunders earlier today, and they said, and both you guys can relate to this, as you have both coached all-star teams. Yao Ming with the slam. The toughest part of it is being able to figure out the minutes for each of these guys, and you know there will be some bruised feelings after the game.
Well, Marv, you almost script the first 40 minutes, leave the last 8 or so to who's playing well. You see Wallace go to the basket, because normally it gets competitive in the last 8 or 10 minutes. You want to make sure everybody's got their time, and in the last 8 or 10 minutes, you go to try to win the game.
And starters probably deserve more minutes than the backups. That's who the fans voted, as Kevin Garnett can't control the lob pass, so they were voted in. They should probably get a little more as far as minutes go down. Stretch the dunk by Jermaine O'Neal off the lob. Down the stretch, you play the best guys.
And Rick Carlisle said he fears that the West will be playing zone.
they might throw 5 7-footers, what Mike said here to start the game, but 5 skilled 7-footers, I may add.
All right, here's Yao for 3, coming up short.
He's smiling.
Game is tied at 6. We're just underway. Iverson met by Duncan, and Wallace gets it down low.
Well, every shot in the lane is contested. You got 3 7-footers running at your shot. How about Yao Ming running the floor for the layup?
So Tim Duncan leads the break and lobs it to Yao for the finish.
We're going to see many three-pointers hoisted here tonight at both ends.
Mike talked about the rebound disparity for the West. I think for the East, you got to create some turnovers. You get the ball so deep in the post so they can't defend that. But last year they forced 30 turnovers, which made it a game. The West did prevail in overtime, but they did get some turnovers, which allowed them to run.
Iverson. And here comes Kobe Bryant. Gets the screen from Tim Duncan. Duncan. And Yao. Duncan on the follow, and the West with a 12-6 lead.
Doug, you coached the rookie versus sophomore game 2 nights ago, and one of the things that comes up is the constant question, is this a show or is it a competitive game? Something that the players, I think, have to figure out.
Well, I think you want to entertain, but I think these fans want to see a competitive game. I think they wanted to see it the other night, and I think the league will talk and make them understand that, yes, put on a show, but at the same time, we want this to be competitive as well. Show your skills.
Well, the last couple of years, there has been competitiveness. Last year in Atlanta, West beat the East in double overtime. It was that 155-145 defensive battle that was led by Kevin Garnett. Scored 37 points here. Jermaine O'Neal spinning his ball.
Well, you talk about a guy who's had a great year. You know, the MVP talk of the 3 guys in the West, he has been by far the best player in the Eastern Conference. He's given them a rock inside defensively, one of the best shot blockers in the league, scores. He brings it every night with his energy. He's been great for our test.
And Bryant had it knocked away.
We're just listening to Rick Carlisle, who coaches him every night out there. This guy's really taking leadership responsibilities upon himself. Talking some of the young guys through tough situations and providing the direction that the team needed early in the year when they were struggling a little bit.
You know, Mike, we talk so often about leadership, and, you know, you see what Kevin Garnett is doing for Minnesota. You've seen through the years, you know, Shaq and Kobe when they won their championships, the Michael Jordans, now the Jermaine O'Neal in Indiana. When your best player is your best student and your best ally, then you can teach execution, and you don't have to worry about energy and effort. You know that star player is going to make sure the team brings it.
Francis looking for Garnett. Here is Duncan. And rebounded by McGrady. The West 12 and the East 8. Tracy McGrady going baseline and gives it to Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace in his second All-Star game by way of the Detroit Pistons, the Defensive Player of the Year of the last 2 seasons. Steve Francis of the Houston Rockets to his teammate Yao Ming. Francis to Yao.
Well, we've seen that combination all season long. Jeff Van Gundy has Houston in the playoffs right now at this point in time, and I'm sure they're very excited as they go into the last 30 games of their season.
Iverson's pass picked off, and Bryant puts out a dribbling exhibition and fires it down low, but Garnett not able to hit. Kept alive by Francis. And here is Kobe for 3.
Kobe loves these All-Star games, Mike. He just made a terrific pass, hit the 3. But here he is at home. You know he would love to put on a show. It's been a tough year for him in a lot of ways. He wants to finish strong going into the playoffs.
Well, the Lakers started the season at 18-3. That's a 3-pointer by Carter. Lakers have struggled. Many distractions, starting with Kobe's legal difficulties, the feud between Shaq and Kobe, plus the injuries suffered by Kobe, Shaq, Carmelo, Rick Fox, off the glass. And Vince Carter puts it down. And this week it was announced the Lakers had suspended contract negotiations with Phil Jackson. His contract expires after this season. Here's Duncan. And then Kobe was asked whether Phil Jackson's status would have any effect on his own future with the team. Kobe said it doesn't matter if he's here or not. I don't care. But then he did pull back on that statement.
You'll see this fast break opportunity coming up here, and Allen Iverson knows he's got Carter trailing, so he just lays it up off the backboard. There's Vince to finish it off.
Cheryl Miller, Craig Sager working the sideline. Here comes Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq coming on for Yao Ming, and Jason Kidd replacing Tracy McGrady.
Well, I got to give Czar some props here. He talked about the rebounding, second chance points. No, here's a steal by Kobe.
Kobe Bryant off the steal, extends to a 21-15 Western Conference lead.
But 9 of the 21 points for the West have come on second chance, 9-0 second chance points.
Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson averaging 27.5 per game, leads the NBA in scoring. He has won the scoring title 3 times. He's been an All-Star MVP. Duncan.
You know, one of the things to me that really stands about the West big men, they're all very good passers, Mike. I mean, so much is made about their offense and something, but they pass the ball so very well.
And the coaches have so much trust in their ability that so much of their offense, as Carter misses the 3, starts with the ball going into those big men, letting them make a decision with it.
Steve Francis tried to loop that pass, broke it up. Iverson and Kidd now work the backcourt for the East with O'Neal, Wallace, and Carter up front. Here's Kidd from downtown. Jason Kidd of the red-hot New Jersey Nets. Nets have won 10 straight. They're 9-0 since Lawrence Frank took over. They were 5-0. Shaquille O'Neal serving up a facial.
Jermaine O'Neal wanted no part of that. He saw the big man rumbling down the lane. He just sort of got out of his way.
Shaq has kind of taken this weekend in LA as a little personal adventure for us. He's been involved with almost everything that's going on out here and enjoying it.
And enjoying the skip dribble. We saw this last year in the All-Star game. He takes all the way, but is not able to finish, and that was the case last year. Iverson off the nice lead from Kidd. Jermaine O'Neal with the rebound. And goes Glass. Kobe fires it down. Shaq throwing one off the glass. Here's Iverson putting it up.
Well, if the game gets in the open court, the East has a chance because they are electric. They're finishing. Vince Carter's got off to a great start.
West up by 3. Ben Wallace now defending on Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaq able to back his way.
He's the toughest guy in the league to referee because you don't know if he's dislodging or if it's just a normal move. He just bumped Ben Wallace out of the way and put him right underneath the basket with his right shoulder.
Right, here's Kidd again for 3. So Jason Kidd has connected on 2 straight from downtown.
So basically, Shaq got the early stuff out of the way right away. Brought it down, then tried to throw a look-away pass, and then said, let me get back down low and finish the way I know how to.
You think it's over? I think he's just heating up.
We'll see him. This is what you're talking about, Doug. Is he moving that defender out of the way, or is that just because he's big?
Fans' hearts by retiring. What was the determining factor?
Just age and realizing that I've proven to the world what I can do, and I've accomplished all my goals. So now it's time to make new goals and just go on and do positive things.
Watching this game, who do you like, East or West?
Well, I like North. You know, great players on the court. It's amazing to watch them. That's why I love great plays, great shooting, and just a great combination of players. It's just going to be great. Great energy on the floor.
Well, our analyst, Doug Collins, was hoping that you would announce your comeback on TNT, but that's not going to happen, is it?
No. Maybe in a couple years.
Let's send it back to you, Marv.
In boxing, you never know.
That's right. I said he's going to announce his comeback right here.
2:17 remaining in this opening quarter. The West with a 27-25 lead on the East. Ron Artest of the Indiana Pacers. Did he have a problem dressing in the dark?
How about those shoes?
He's wearing different shoes.
Well,
a different shoe on each foot.
Well, Rick Carlisle told us he was excited before the game. We can see that now with his shoes.
Game is tied at 27. Kenyon Martin of the Nets has checked in. Paul Pierce of the Celtics also checking in with Jamal McLaurin of the Hornets. A blind pass attempted by O'Neal that was last touched on the East.
How would you like to double team the post, have Kobe cut through, and your shooters on the perimeter are Ray Allen, Nowitzki, and Stojakovic. Some pretty good options out there, Coach Fratello.
You may not want to double team tonight, though.
I know. Give up 2 instead of 3.
And Shaq has given the West a 29-27 lead. Ron Artest has had a superb season as a member of the Indiana Pacers. Played under control right throughout. That's one of the factors that Rick Carlisle is so pleased about.
Well, you know, there are 2 young men playing in this game, and we'll see the first-time All-Stars here tonight, Andre Kirilenko. And I was going to mention these 2, Ron Artest and Kenyon Martin, both guys who early on maybe a little bit out of control, but both have matured, gotten themselves under control, and are rewarded with their All-Star appearance.
And rewarded by the coaches.
Sam Cassell has checked in for the first time. McLaurin not able to handle. Here's Allen flipping it ahead, and a foul. It is on Artest.
To me, if there's anybody out here that would be a little nervous, it would be Jamal McLaurin. I mean, this is really his first time on this kind of stage, but could be a great thing for him to be able to come out here like this and play tonight, because it looks like New Orleans is going to be a team they'll be reckoned with now that they're getting healthy once again in the East, Mike.
And McLaurin, not the kind of guy that scores a lot of points. He's a workhorse. He gets on the boards. He blocks a couple shots for him, and capable of getting 10, 12 points a night. But as far as All-Star, you tend to think points right away.
Ray Allen of the Seattle Sonics, who has made it back from off-season knee surgery and an ankle problem. Pierce, looked like Cassell got a piece of it.
Well, it's got to be tough for Paul Pierce. The team in Boston right now lost 7 of their last 8 games. Jimmy O'Brien, you know, resigned. New coach. It looks like they're going to really limp in. I would be shocked if they could hold their playoff position, Marv.
Right now they're in the 8th spot.
Oh! Kenyon Martin from his New Jersey teammate Jason Kidd, and the game tied at 31.
Just going back, I was saying that Boston is in that 8th spot right now, but Doug, you mentioned that they are reeling, and you've got Philly, Miami, and Cleveland all chasing them right behind. You'll see the look away by Jason. He knows that guy pretty well. Kendrick Martin with the finish.
Down to 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. Again, that good-looking backcourt man, Shaquille O'Neal, takes all the way and is rejected. Final seconds of this first quarter. Here's McLaurin getting inside 0.2 of a second to go in the quarter, and that will do it. It's the East 33 and the West 31. It's the first lead of the night for the East. Shaq 3 for 7, 6 points here at the start.
Shaq has basically played more of all 5 positions on the floor as far tonight.
We'll be back to Los Angeles in a moment. We welcome you back to Los Angeles. We're at Staples Center, the home of the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers after one of this 53rd NBA All-Star game. It's the East 33 and the West 31. How about this? The East with 14 of their 15 field goals assisted, 14 assists, one shy of the all-time NBA All-Star game record for most assists in a quarter.
Well, when you look at the first half, it was the size of the West. They were 11-0 in second chance points. In the running of the East, they were 10-4. So if the game is fast, it favors the East. If it gets inside, it favors the West.
Here is Paul Pierce. And Kidd able to keep it alive. Jason Kidd in the backcourt with Paul Pierce. Shaquille O'Neal up front now with Dirk Nowitzki and Pedro Stojakovic. The backcourt is Sam Cassell of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Ray Allen of the Seattle Sonics, and Allen being played by Ron Artest.
Just what Ray Allen wants to do in an all-star game, have Ron Artest guard him. Please.
You know, he started to cut through that time and stopped suddenly, went back behind the three-point line.
I'm not going to take that beating.
No, he didn't want to go through there.
Look at him muscling him down here. Ray Allen says, no, don't do this.
And a foul is called. It is on Allen. Ron Artest, one of the NBA's best defenders, and also averaging 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Originally a first-round pick of the Chicago Bulls, traded to the Pacers in that deal involving Jalen Rose and Brad Miller, Travis Best.
Well, you know, we were talking to Rick Carlisle before the game, who coaches the Pacers, and I said, was there a turning point in your season this year? When did it all click for you? He said, you know what, we had a miserable preseason. We were like 3-5. He said, but we really caught lightning in a bottle. We went to Detroit, the first game of the year, obviously the second chance basket by Martin. He said, not much was expected. We went in and won opening night in Detroit. Obviously, the emotion with Rick Carlisle going back there, and he said, we just took off.
Pedro Stojakovic, who was dethroned from the three-point shooting championship last night, missed on his first, hits his second. That's a 2, though. He had a foot on the line. Nice play. Pierce able to put it down for Sean Leonard of the Denver Nuggets, the new shootout champion. Here's Allen firing one up. 5-point lead for the East. Minute and a half gone by in this second quarter. Shaq got a piece of it. Martin. Artest looking for Kidd, and last touch by the West.
Have we had another sneaker change by Ron Artest? Have we done away now with the gold sneakers, and now he's...
That was probably the new line he was breaking out for today's game.
Are you saying Ron is marketing here?
I think he's doing a little marketing, Marv. Yes. He took that Pacer gold and blue shoe off.
And Artest with the steal. Kidd serves it up, but it was off the mark, and Martin could not handle.
There's no point guard in the league that will take more chances with the ball than Jason Kidd. He will throw that thing up there, and you better have your eye on that basketball as a defender.
Oh, Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell, at 34 years, 89 days old, the second oldest first-time All-Star, and that's Sweetwater Clifton of the New York Knicks. the oldest when he made his debut back in 1957. Older by 5 days. Shaq with the emphatic goaltending call, the basketball count.
Doug, wasn't Sam Cassell rewarded by Flip Saunders after training camp? And you'll see Shaq here sending a message that don't throw that stuff up here. I'm going to take one and send it into the stands. But go back to Cassell. His coach rewarded him at the end of training camp, right?
Yeah, he sure did. Sam went through all the practices today. He gave him a medal afterwards for doing it. Then we see Stojakovic saying it might have been a fluke I lost last night, but you better not leave me out here. But you know, he said he thinks it really has had an effect on Sam's season this year. He said that's why he's playing so great, because of what he went through early in training camp with his team.
He said he's been going to the weights every day. He's in the best shape of his life, but more able to put it down, and the East now leads 42-38.
And because he worked so hard in training camp, did not miss a practice as Nowitzki misses the 3. He got off to a slow start shooting the ball, but that happens frequently with teams that put a lot of hard work during the 28 days of training camp. When they come in, their legs aren't quite right yet. It takes them a while to get in the groove, so to say.
And then they reap the benefits.
All right, here's Pierce for 3. Jack with his 6th rebound. Nowitzki gets it down low. Cassell for O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq has 8 points. The East up by 2, and a timeout is taken with 8.5 remaining in this first half. Kevin Garnett, certainly one of the leading contenders for MVP honors this season.
Well, what's impressive about Minnesota, they're 18-9 on the road. That's the most road wins, and that really puts them in a great position. They have the 2nd seed in the West, the 3rd best overall record. They have had a terrific year.
Aaron Davis, a Los Angeles native, has come on for the first time, missing on that 3. And here's Davis giving it up. Paul Pierce out of nearby Inglewood. The one-time as West gets it down in a hurry for Ray Allen. So the East now leads 44-42.
What'd you stop for, Zach?
And as you say, then Kenyon Martin puts one home.
You dare not look down at this game. I mean, eyes up at all times.
The East by 4. We are early in the second quarter. Here's Brad Miller of the Sacramento Kings. Goes to the step back. Davis of the Hornets looking for his teammate McGlure, but it lands in the first row. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Marv, here's the story on Ron Artest's shoes. Right now he's wearing Adidas on his left foot and Nike on his right. Earlier he had on And1, and also he had on Dada. I asked him what's going on. He said he's auditioning because he does not have a shoe contract, but now that he's an all-star, he thinks he deserves one. I said, how are you going to decide? He goes, well, maybe at the end of the day, I'll just spin the wheel.
Greg doing his investigative reporting.
And you thought I was kidding about him marketing today.
Well, the East with a 48-42 lead on the West. Here's Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki of the Dallas Mavericks in his 3rd All-Star game. That's his first bucket here tonight.
You know, he really got off to, I thought, a little bit of a slow start this year. Had a little bit of a tweak that as we see Davis bury the 3. But as he has gotten better and as that team is sort of blended together, you know, Dallas now legitimately is a team I think you have to really be concerned with in the West, Mike.
You know, it almost seems like Dallas hasn't done a whole lot as we see the layup there by the big center, Mr. Miller from Sacramento.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, Mr. Miller, Mr. Brad Miller.
Artest not able to hit from downtown, and here is Davis for 3. No, he gives it up to Artest. McGlure trying to squeeze his way through, and does. And Jamal McGlure, folks, is the high man in this first half. He has 12 points. Stojakovic not able to hit the 3.
Mark, I was starting to say that it almost seems like Dallas hasn't done a whole lot this season. They're 33-19. It wasn't a smooth transition early on, but there they are with the 4th best record in the West still.
And a team that has made many changes. Timeout is called by Flip Saunders with 5:40 remaining in this first half. The East up by 9, and this the biggest lead of the night. It's the 53rd NBA All-Star Game from the City of Angels. We'll be right back. check in with Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
And thanks a lot, Marvin. Joining me is perhaps one of the greatest tennis players to come out of the Los Angeles area. The other half happens to be in Europe playing right now, and I'm talking about Serena Williams and her beautiful niece, Justice. And Serena, I know that you've had surgery on your knee, on your left knee. For 6 months you've been out. When do you think you might be back?
Well, actually, I'm really excited. I'm about to come back in a couple weeks. I'm going to go in the Middle East and play a tournament, and I can't wait.
Serena, how exciting is it to have the All-Star game here in your backyard?
I just came to the game. This is pretty much the only All-Star thing I've done all week, so it's really exciting. It's a really exciting, fun game. I'm glad it came to LA.
I can't wait to see you get back.
Thank you. Me neither.
Send it back to you, Marv. Thank you.
All right, Cheryl, here's Garnett, who just checked back in. And the East now leads 55-48. Michael Redd of the Milwaukee Bucks has come on for the East, and Andrei Kirilenko of the Utah Jazz making his first appearance. Redd not able to hit. It's a 2-on-1 led by Cassell. The East does hustle back. Brad Miller able to finish.
What a great addition he's been to Sacramento with Chris Webber being injured. His passing, his toughness, his rebounding, 15-plus points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Mike, he's been great.
And once Webber comes back, as we see McClure miss the layup attempt, then you talk about rotating 3 big men.
Kobe Bryant with the finish, and the West now within 3. Here's McClure. Rebounded by Kirilenko. What a terrific season it has been for Andrei Kirilenko, among the leaders in steals and block shots in his first NBA All-Star game.
And you know, it's sort of fitting that Andrei Kirilenko would play for a coach like Jerry Sloan, who really embodied all the things that Kirilenko does as a player: toughness, rebounding, competitiveness. When you look at Kirilenko's numbers, they don't jump out at you. He's a great shot blocker, steals. His points aren't there, but what he's done for that Utah team, they lost Stockton, they lost Malone. They're only 1 game under 500. A lot of people felt like they'd have the worst team in the NBA this year, Marv.
Yes, the Utah Jazz, one of the surprises of the halfway mark. So Jermaine O'Neal checking back along with Ben Wallace. Here's O'Neal. Miller stepped away. Redd. And Wallace keeps it alive. Here's O'Neal. Kirilenko trying to tip it to his teammate Francis. And Miller comes up with it. Outlets it. Bryant behind the back. Fooled Garnett. He thought Kobe would take the shot. Here's Baron Davis putting it up for Jermaine O'Neal.
Baron Davis got off to such a great start this year. Mike, I thought he wore down a little bit. He got nicked up a little bit at the end, but he kept his team in the hunt while Jamal Mashburn was out with injury.
Well, he took it upon himself not only to do the scoring, but remember, at that point, Wesley was feeling okay before David Wesley was injured. They eventually lost both of their starting guards in the backcourt. Just as Jamal Mashburn returned, the backcourt falls apart.
East with a 57-54 lead. Here's McGrady for 3. And Garnett has a 3-on-2. Francis surprised that he had the path to the basket, but did not look for the shot. Steve Francis being played by Tracy McGrady. McGrady digging in. Francis to the fadeaway and scores.
As you know, we recently saw Steve Francis dribble the last 15 seconds away of a game with his team down 3 points, which did not make his coach extremely happy at that time. But eventually, Steve was so exhausted from dribbling the ball, he couldn't reach the rim with the 3-point attempt.
No legs left. It was an air ball.
Now back to Marv and his posse. Marv.
Posse being the czar, Mike Fratello and Doug Collins. Thank you, Ernie. With just under 3 to go in this first half, the East with a 57-56 lead on the West. Yao Ming has checked back in for the West. Baron Davis being played by Kevin Garnett, who is enjoying the matchup. Davis flips it back. Shot clock down to 5. McGrady puts it off the backboard, and it's put down. Tracy McGrady going glass. Yao Ming rebounded by Ben Wallace of Detroit. Michael Redd thought he had Ben Wallace. I thought.
Did you have your hands open, Doug? Looking for a pass somewhere?
Well, Tracy McGrady, we've seen this before. He is so great with his ability to hang in the air and finish. Just the self-pass off the backboard. We saw that, I think, last year's game as well.
Kobe Bryant's pass picked off, 2-on-1. Here's Davis. Baron Davis of the Hornets, who grew up here in LA, says this weekend he is staying at the house that he bought for his grandmother in the Los Angeles area. Kevin Garnett, right back, the East by 3. Brady being played now by Kirilenko.
That's a great matchup.
Nice handoff from Michael Redd. Michael Redd of the Bucks in his first All-Star game. How about the Bucks, 27-24? Talked about Utah earlier. Bucks, one of the surprises of the season.
And how about Michael Redd? His first year, played 35 total minutes. And he's worked himself to be an NBA All-Star and has been the star of that Milwaukee team this year.
There's Yao for 3. He attempted one earlier.
Well, you mentioned the Bucks, a little three-way trade today with New York, Atlanta, and Milwaukee.
And a foul is called as Jermaine O'Neal try to hit on the follow.
Milwaukee winds up with Keith Van Horn. New York winds up with Nazir Mohammed and Tim Thomas, and Atlanta winds up with Michael Doliak and Joel Prisbilla. So quite a move there.
Coming up, the Verizon Wireless halftime report. Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Magic, Charles Barkley, Grammy Award-winning Beyonce will perform. The Knicks, once again, as Isaiah Thomas has been very active. First pulling off the huge trade for Stephon Marbury, but obviously feels that Tim Thomas is more compatible with Stephon Marbury because Thomas runs the floor.
I think he was looking for a more athletic team. I thought Keith Van Horn did a nice job for New York this year, but he was looking for a more athletic forward that he could get out and run and push. I think the big thing with Tim Thomas is, you know, he's been known not to play hard every night. I mean, if he plays hard, he's a very talented player.
But the buzz has certainly been back at Madison Square Garden.
Tim Thomas going back to his home area. He's from the Paterson, New Jersey area initially. Now he's right back there once again.
Well, he's a tremendously talented player.
Down to 40 seconds in this first half, and Duncan had it slapped away. West shooting 52%, the East at 51. Now this time passed on the long-range shot. Francis, and it knocked away by Wallace.
You know, you mentioned, Doug, why New York went after Thomas. In Atlanta, if you follow along what they've done, the moves that they've made recently, they just keep emptying money out, so that at the end of this season, they will be way, way below the cap.
Well, you know what I always said, you know, cap space is nice, but cash can't play. You got to have players, so you got to be very careful. You strip your team down that you can bring some talent back, and we'll see whether Atlanta can do that. Remember now, Chicago's been struggling for 6 years to be competitive after they stripped their team down.
Knicks getting Tim Thomas and Nazir Mohammed. Keith Van Horn goes to the Milwaukee Bucks. Looking at Rick Carlisle talking to the Eastern Conference team. Rick making his first appearance as an All-Star head coach. He was an assistant on Larry Bird's staff, so did appear at an All-Star game in his first year with the Pacers after leading the Pistons to 2 Central Division titles. Rick Coach of the Year back in 2002, and after last season replaced by Larry Brown in Detroit. A bizarre shuffling of coaches with Rick replacing Isaiah Thomas in Indiana.
You know what's interesting? Indiana's coach has been the All-Star coach the last 2 years. It's been 2 different coaches. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Yes, Isaiah was the head coach of the East last year. 3-on-1, and Kobe puts it up for Francis, and they'll reset. Final seconds of the half. Francis lost it. Garnett with the intercept. Garnett fires for 3. So it's the East 64 and the West 58. Halftime here in Los Angeles. Somehow I feel Ernie enjoyed throwing it to us to get off the topic.
Well, I've got some good news for you, Marv. No one is in foul trouble after the first half of basketball.
Excellent observation. Yes, when we take a look at the free throws, 4 for the East. The West yet to go to the foul line.
Well, again, it was the tempo. The East got it where they wanted. They got out and ran. They were good on the fast break. The West We're +9 on second chance points. I expect the West to crank it up a little bit here in the second half. Like Kevin Garnett said, the first half is for the show, the second half is for the competitiveness. We'll see.
The West at 28 of 57. They have shot 49% as we take a look at the Jeep halftime statistics. And the East at 50%, 29 for 58. You can see the Eastern Conference with 23 assists on their 29 field goals. And for those of you keeping score at home, 12 dunks to 10 in favor of the East.
And following our lead, Doug, just like we said, Jamal McGlure, not noted, okay, for being a scorer, leads the Eastern team with 12 points.
All right, the East in the blue in possession. Tracy McGrady handling. Ben Wallace up front with Jermaine O'Neal and Vince Carter, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady are at the guards, and Jermaine O'Neal opens up the third quarter by knocking down the jump shot. The East 66 and the West 58. Tim Duncan on the front line along with Kevin Garnett and Yao Ming. This is Steve Francis with the ball. He and Kobe Bryant in the backcourt. Here is Yao Ming coming off a stellar performance against Shaq and the Lakers this past Wednesday night. 29 points, 11 rebounds.
If he gets that ball in the area where he can just catch and shoot it, he's the best shooter in the NBA percentage-wise. You're not going to bother his shot, Mike. He's too big, and he gets great extension.
And Wallace lost the handle, able to recover. Here's Iverson with the open shot, just did beat the 24-second clock. Jermaine O'Neal has come out, hit a couple of jump shots.
Eastern Conference team getting their second shot opportunities. They had one more field goal attempt, and as you mentioned, Mark, 4 free throws to none for the Western Conference. Offensive rebounds.
Yao Ming with a deep jump hook.
He's coming off the break where he had a terrific game against the Lakers and Shaquille O'Neal. The Lakers went into Houston after they had lost a tough game to San Antonio. We see Tracy McGrady with the three. Yao with a tremendous game, and the Rockets were able to win that game.
Yao tonight, 5 of 10. 10 points, had a very quiet performance last year. He was voted into the starting lineup last season. Here is Yao again, set up by Garnett.
Again, the great passing of the big men. You see Duncan, you see Garnett. These guys all pass the ball and see the floor so well.
McGrady for 3. Francis pulling it down for Yao Ming. Garnett not able to hit on the reverse. And here is Francis for 3. Steve Francis, who has been in the midst of turmoil recently. 2 weeks ago, skipped the team's charter flight from Houston to Phoenix to go to the Super Bowl, and that led to a 1-game suspension. Head coach Jeff Van Gundy was not pleased with that move.
No, and right now Houston at 30 and 22, an identical record with Memphis, so they share those 6th and 7th positions in the Western Conference standings.
All right, timeout is called. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, the Sacramento Kings have put together the best record in the league despite playing all 50 games without 5-time All-Star Chris Webber, who's recovering from ankle surgery. The Kings are expected to activate Webber tomorrow after practice, a move that will trigger an immediate suspension from the NBA. Webber lied to a grand jury over allegedly taking money from a booster while at Michigan. He received community service and a deferred sentence. However, we have learned tonight that the league will suspend him for up to 8 games, a severe penalty that indicates that he is being penalized by the league for violations that go beyond lying to a grand jury. Neither the league nor the Kings will comment to us tonight, pending clarification and consultation with lawyers tomorrow.
All right, Craig. Sacramento at 37 and 13, best record in the NBA. They have done it without Chris Webber, and obviously will continue to be without Chris Webber. Ben Wallace on the rebound. Another possession for the East. Iverson throwing into the crowd. Here comes Francis. And nearly blew that layup. So the East now leads 71-69. The East has led by as many as 9.
Kevin Garnett talking to Yao, telling him to bring Iverson to him. Bring him to me. Don't let him go baseline, Yao.
How about this, though? He's got Yao on him. He's got Garnett helping, and he drives. He's got Duncan coming over to guard the basket. Good luck, Allen.
Now Duncan comes out to play McGrady. O'Neal is stopped by Duncan.
Look, you know what's interesting? The East has 5 open shots, perimeter shots. They keep taking the ball at the big man.
Here's a 4 on no one. Tracy McGrady from Allen Iverson, who went off glass. Now 3 on 1, the other one. Yes, and it counts. The foul on Carter, and Bryant will go to the line.
I know we ooh and ah over the dunks and the great plays, but Kobe Bryant got hung in the air there. We'll watch this off the backboard now. This is 2 that Tracy McGrady has done today. 1 a pass to himself. This one from Allen Iverson. Spectacular play. And then Kobe on the break. Watch him. He gets hit, hangs in the air, still gets his shoulders square to the basket, and has an opportunity for a 3-point play, but he does miss the free throw, Mike.
And that was the first free throw attempt by the West. Francis getting a little too tricky. And now Francis with the open shot.
Way too much time. Those are the kind you miss.
Iverson setting it up for Carter.
I think that quadricep strain feels better.
And Francis right back.
This looks like the rookie-sophomore game I was coaching the other day. One dunk after the other. Unfortunately, the sophomores had a lot more than we did, Marv. I know you guys enjoyed me getting tattooed the other night, giving up 142 points.
I know you enjoyed the dunkathon.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. They were getting too many against us, so it was the only problem.
Foul on Francis. Let's go to Cheryl with Sam Cassell.
Thanks a lot, Marv. Well, it took you, Sammy, 11 seasons, 2 NBA titles, but you finally got the All-Star nod. Did you ever think it would finally happen?
Well, I don't know, because the way it was looking, it wasn't going to happen. But I got to Minnesota this year. Came to the best conference. I had to get out the East, I think.
You guys are off to a great start to leading the division. Once you guys get completely healthy, how scary can Minnesota be?
Right up there. So we're not intimidated by no team in the West. We've been hurt the whole year. Kevin Spree and myself. You know, we can ride us till we win or lose.
All right, enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
Mark?
All right, Sam Cassell among the league leaders in scoring, assists, field goal percentage, 3-point shooting. Traded by the Bucks to the T-Wolves in exchange for Joe Smith and Anthony Peeler in his first All-Star game. Member of 2 Houston championship teams back in '94 and '95.
Well, I think what he was talking about, the injuries, obviously, to Wally Zerbiak, who's not played all year. They expect to get him back soon. Michael Olowokandi will give them size. They've added Oliver Miller, and Troy Hudson's just getting himself back in the mix. So they have a lot of different weapons that they can show now once they get everybody healthy.
Flip Saunders telling us that his 3 injured play. That's a 3. So 12 points for Kobe Bryant. And here is McGrady. Flip Saunders says his 3 injured players, Zerbiak, Olowokandi, and Hudson, should be back within the next 10 days, perhaps this week. And we have Sacramento and Minnesota on TNT on Thursday night.
The other thing that Flip Saunders mentioned to us is the way the 3 big-name players have bonded together, not only on the court, but off the court as well. And I think Sprewell and Cassell both went in there and very much understood that this is Kevin Garnett's team, and we're willing to defer to him. Garnett was willing to obviously put his imprint on the entire situation.
Here's Michael Redd from downtown. Michael Redd of the Milwaukee Bucks in his first All-Star appearance, and he has come a long way. 2nd-round pick back in 2000. In his rookie year, played a total of 35 minutes. Shaquille O'Neal. So it's an 80-79 West Conference lead. Iverson now being played by Allen, Ray Allen, back on the floor.
Here comes the big fundamentalist. Shaq has called him back.
Well, the big fundamentalist took it all the way.
Little show and go there. How about the year that Duncan's having? Boy, everybody's talking about Kevin Garnett, but quietly he is just taking that San Antonio Spurs team. They're playing great right now going into the break. Had a 7-game road trip. They're hoping to finish up with 3 more wins, make that a 7-0 trip. Last year was a 9-gamer. They went 8-1.
Timeout call. The West in the midst of a 20-8 run. They lead by 3.
And with me is Chris Noth, the executive producer and starring in the movie Bad Apple. But I was talking to you earlier, and all of a sudden Paul Pierce came up to you, and he said that he thought you were his coach, John Carroll with the Celtics. Do you think there's a resemblance?
I've never seen him. Is he good looking?
Well, he was a lot better looking when he was assistant coach, but now since he's become the head coach, he's aged very quickly.
He's getting a little stressed out. Well, maybe I could play him in a movie sometime then.
Tell us about the movie Bad Apple.
It's a wild and crazy ride, Bad Apple, and Elliot Gould, Robert Patrick, who are sitting here watching the game, co-star with me, and it's kind of like Goodfellas meets It's a Mad, Mad World. It's a comedy drama, it's character-based, and it's a wild ride.
Obviously, anybody watches TNT, they recognize you immediately, Law and Order and all the other things you've been on their network, including the NBA All-Stars here. I saw you interacting with them. Who was your favorite player when you talked to before the game?
Well, I really, you know, I'm for the East, and Ben Wallace, I think, is amazing. I mean, his rebounding, I think he's amazing, and I'm just in awe of these, you know, incredible players. Duncan's like, did you see that last shot he made? He was just like in midair for about 10 seconds. It seemed like.
Now, Barbara's saying he's the great fundamentalist, but obviously he's got some flashy moves as well.
They look like they're having a great time, you know? It's like we're all very serious watching. They look like they're having fun playing around, and just, it looks so easy. They make it look so easy. It just looks like they're having a blast.
Well, enjoy the rest of the game. We'll see you afterwards. Some bad.
I want to meet this coach. I want to see, you know, what's the real resemblance to, you know, does he got fired?
Well, here's one of his. That's a jersey for you.
All right. Well, as long as we look alike, I'll start wearing this.
So I know you can arrange that meeting with John Carroll. NBA players actually know Chris Noth as Mr. Big from Sex and the City. It's Ray Allen of the Sonics is able to knock it down in the West with an 84-81 lead. Just under 5 left in the third. Red coming up short. West going now with Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, Andre Kirilenko up front. Ray Allen. Kobe Bryant on the follow.
You know, I think Ray Allen is one of the best 2 guards in the league at being able to create his own shot off the dribble. Mike, he's a very good ball handler, and he can get to where he wants to get on the floor. And you really have to respect his 3-point shot. He really does a nice job of getting in the lane.
And Shaq took it away. Allen is fouled. He was hit by Pierce. Ray Allen averaging 23 points, shooting the ball well from downtown after making it back from knee surgery and ankle problem. Ray acquired from the Bucks last February in that deal involving Gary Payton, Desmond Mason, and Flip Murray.
Well, you know, there's always a lot of conversation on, you know, should anybody be on the team or that isn't on the team and vice versa. And, you know, Ray Allen missed 25 games this year due to injury, but he was a coach's choice as he misses the free throw. And a lot of speculation, maybe Carmelo Anthony should have been there because of what he's helped do with Denver, Elton Brand, Zach Randolph, some other guys. But there's no question what kind of player that Ray Allen is when he's healthy, and the coaches reward him with that, Mike.
Seattle have gotten off to such a great start this year,
Yes.
Doug, and they've struggled lately. We see the little backdoor move by Michael Redd, and Jason Kidd hits him right where he wanted it, on the money in his hands for the layup.
West up by 4 as we come up on 3 minutes to go in this third quarter. The West has won 3 of the last 4 NBA All-Star games. The East with a decisive edge. Kirilenko firing a rainbow, rebounded by Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal able to tip. So Shaq with 12 points, 8 rebounds.
And I think Jamal McGlure got the message that Shaq wanted that layup. Time down.
Starting to get serious now. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go here at the third quarter. We got a very close game, East within 6. This is when it starts getting competitive. This is when teams say, okay, we want to win the game.
Well, talking with both coaches, Flip Saunders and Rick Carlisle, they say they'll try to distribute the minutes in very diplomatic fashion over the first 40 as Michael Redd hits the three. Jason Kidd with the steal, and Kidd gives it up. Here's McClure with the windmill. Kidd to McClure. Shaq able to beat the East down court.
You gotta love Shaq. I mean, he enjoys the game.
He does. He's like a little kid out there. He has fun watching him. He's going to do something here off the dribble. He wants the ball back. Let's see if Sam gives it to him.
Now Sam Cassell going glass. So the West leads by 5. And now see Jason Kidd smiling as he was met by Shaquille O'Neal. O'Neal defending on Kidd, and foul on Shaq. That's his second. 2.5 remaining in the third quarter. A timeout taken. It's the West with a 93-88 lead on the East. Jamal McClure. Who had Jamal in the MVP poll?
Not I.
The sights and sounds of this 53rd NBA All-Star game. Players fascinated with the 2 different shoes worn by Ron Artest. Jason Kidd, 7 assists, 6 points. Allen Iverson with 10 assists. And Paul Pierce cuts the West lead to 93-90. 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the third. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, the Czar, Mike Fratello, Craig Sager, and Cheryl Miller on the sideline. Here's Brad Miller of the Kings, who just checked in. So Brad Miller with 8 points. Look out, the steal by Cassell. And here's Allen setting up on Martin. Yes, Ray Allen. West 97, the East 90.
Mike, the East has got to be very careful here. They're letting the West push ahead now after being up by 6, down by 7. They need to have a strong finish here to end this third period.
As you mentioned, the West taking it a little more serious right now and slowly opening up the gap here. And right now, the East comes right back, shoots a 3, misses. This thing can blow open quickly.
All right, here comes Davis with Kidd, 3 on 2. Kidd puts it off glass for Martin. Kenyon Martin from Jason Kidd, and Kenyon Martin trailing the play to exactly what Kidd was about to do.
You know, he reminds me of a player that has a rear view mirror. He can see what's behind him, not only in front of him. It's really amazing, his vision.
Allen lost it. Davis with McClure. A couple of Hornets get together.
That's the ability of a player to be able to know where the other 9 players are on the floor at all times, anticipating what their move might be. And we see the lob to the big man, Shaquille O'Neal.
Don't jerk the basket down, Shaq, please.
Nearly took the rim and backboard with him.
He did that in Phoenix one day, pulled it all the way to the ground. Just collapsed.
Kidd for 3. Jason Kidd has had an outstanding game. 9 points, 8 assists. The West lead is now 2 with 35 seconds remaining in the third. Shaq, it counts, and the foul. And yes.
Look,
he liked that move, didn't he?
But you know what, Mike, you made a great point. You know, he loves to play and he loves to perform. And you see him come across there, they just ripped the jersey, McClure. That's how strong he is, Mike. You and I would have done 3 pirouettes and fallen down. I mean, you can't even rip him down or he finishes the shot. We'll go to the line here for the 3-point play, but he just loves playing. And you know what? I sense an excitement in him. It's starting to get closer to the finish here and get into the playoffs. And they've won 3 championships, and that's when he wants to make his little spurt here now, from now until the finish of the season.
Shaq 9 of 15, 18 points, 10 rebounds. Kenyon Martin. West 101, each 99. Karolinko not able to handle that lead from Cassell.
Look, I wonder how far Karl Malone really is away from returning, because obviously the knee injury was different or more serious than everyone first suspected.
Well, they're being very cautious. Obviously, they had that little 18-3 run with everybody healthy. Question is, can they get that back?
All And here's Martin again. Kenyon Martin with 14 points, 3 buckets here down the stretch. Final set. Andrei Kirilenko able to beat the buzzer, but they will review it.
But the great outlet pass from Shaq. He hits Ray Allen again, who makes a great dribble penetration, drops it off to Kirilenko. Just how quickly these guys can get up and down the floor, the great passing and the quick finish.
Well, the lead official, Steve Javy, will take a look at that stuff by Kirilenko. It appears that he did beat the backboard lighting up. We'll be right back. Well, Amari Stoudemire set a new rookie challenge scoring record, 36 points, leading the sophomores to that 142-118 victory over your rookie squad, Doug. That was Friday night. How about Rashawn Leonard of the Nuggets dethroning Peja Stojakovic in the Foot Locker three-point shootout on that was last night, and the NBA with a new dunk champion, Indiana's Fred Jones dethroning the two-time champ Jason Richardson of Golden State. Here's that last-second shot by Andrei Kirilenko. They did review it. The basket, as we mentioned, did count. And as we head to the fourth quarter, the West up 103-101.
Look, that wasn't your team that gave up 142
yes, it was.
points, was it?
Yeah,
no, don't tell me that.
And when I was sitting over there, I could feel you and Marv just piercing me, your eyes piercing me. Like, Coach, what are you doing?
Czar was channeling you. He was trying to help the defensive end for that rookie squad. Ron Artest is back, met by Dirk Nowitzki. Artest to the left hand.
He is so powerful. Look at his shoulders. He just bumped into Nowitzki, created space. He didn't jump about 6 inches off the floor, but he created so much space with his shot.
Game tied at 103. Yao Ming has returned, coming on for Shaquille O'Neal, and Yao now 7 of 13 from the field. He has 14 points.
Not only is he 7'6", but then he brings the ball up so high over his head, and nearly impossible. Like you said, if he gets a look, it's going in.
Yeah, shoot 54%.
Jamal McGlure is fouled by Yao Ming. That foul will not count, and McGlure will go to the line. Kevin Garnett, MVP of last year's game tonight, 5 of 11, 10 points. McGlure with 18 points in 16 minutes of play. Reminder, this Tuesday on NBA TV, it's the Lakers hosting the Trailblazers. Wednesday on ESPN2, it's the Clippers and the Blazers. And next Sunday, the Knicks and the Cavaliers on ABC from Madison Square Garden. Kobe Bryant back on the floor with a minute gone by in the fourth quarter. The West up by 1. Ryan Allen now out of the guards. Artest facing a double team and takes all the way.
Was not pretty, but effective.
He got there.
He got there.
Kind of like people ran away from him.
Yes.
Stojakovic picked off. Moore protecting the dribble. And Davis recovers. Red with no hesitation. And Bryant, a layup. We saw a layup, and he's hearing some boos from the crowd, good-naturedly, I think.
Saving his legs for the finish, Marv. Saving his legs.
Davis from Martin. And the foul on Yao.
This guy is vicious when he attacks the basket. I mean, he goes with a vengeance, and you're going to either have to foul him hard or he's going to get the basket, but he is not going to flip any shots up at the rim.
Kenyon Martin leads the Nets in scoring and rebounding. The overall #1 pick in the draft in 2000, and he will be a restricted free agent this summer, which means the Nets can match any offer. He was looking for a maximum extension. Let's check in with Cheryl.
Thanks, Marv. Brad Miller sprained his right ankle. There's some slight swelling right now. He will be x-rayed, but he is done for tonight, guys.
Sure, Rick Adelman is delighted with that news.
Remember last year when Michael came to the All-Star game, he said he wasn't going to play much, played 41 minutes. As a coach, you go, you know, please get a little rest.
Brad Miller 4 for 5, 8 points in his 10 minutes. Davis tried a behind the back pass and fortunate to get it back and fires. The tip missed by Red. And then Red able to recapture. Here is McGlure. Nowitzki changed his mind. Yao not looking that way. And Baron Davis takes it the distance. Baron Davis, back from that sprained left ankle, had a sensational game against the Knicks in New Orleans this past Wednesday. 29 points, career high, 6 steals. Did not look as if he were bothered by the ankle problem. Yao setting up the pass for his Houston Rocket teammate Steve Francis.
We're getting the swing of things there with a little no-look flipper to the rim.
Francis has 13, and the game is tied at 109. Martin putting the fake on Yao Ming.
You know, when you look at Kenyon Martin, too, Mike, this is a guy who had a horribly fractured leg. I mean, there was a lot of questions of how explosive he would ever be. Well, I think his surgery was a complete success.
Yes, that was out of his days at the University of Cincinnati. And a foul is called. Back in Los Angeles, tonight's aerials are brought to you by Bud Light. We have a major story developing here at courtside, and we have our romanticist, Craig Sager, on the scene. Let's go to Craig.
Well, Marv, the action not only on the court, but also on the sideline. Star Jones, a familiar figure in NBA games, is with us right here, down to her knees. I know it's Valentine's weekend, but what just happened?
I can't tell.
What did you say, yes?
I said yes.
Al Reynolds, you proposed here at All-Star Weekend to Star Jones. How did it come about? How long have you been going together?
We've been going together for about 4 months, and if you know Star, you know that she likes 3 things. She loves basketball, she loves being around her friends, which most of her friends are from LA, and she loves diamonds. So I was like, let's do it all in one spot, and I really surprised her this weekend.
He says you love basketball, friends, and diamonds. Do you love him?
I love him more than any of it.
Oh, that's good. There's 4 things now, and you're the top of the list. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Marv?
Standing ovation from Denzel. A magic moment here the day after Valentine's Day.
Well, we got us a game here, a 2-point game, 8 minutes, little plus to go. Exactly what we wanted. Now the competition will start to surface.
Here's Yao Ming. And Yao has had the touch. 8 for 14, 16 points.
And showing that maybe he will deserve the starting spot.
He is got a wonderfully soft touch.
Michael Redd with the catch and shoot from downtown. So Redd off the bench for 13 in his first All-Star appearance.
Well, when you coach against Rick Carlisle, he loves to run that play out of timeouts. He used to run that in Detroit.
Kobe Bryant and the West within 1. 18 points for Kobe. Kobe's hit 8 of 10 from the field. Kenyon Martin for Baron Davis, not able to put it down. And the East will maintain possession. Last touch, by the way.
And you may now see the group that both coaches intend to finish up with coming on the floor. Here comes Kobe, getting ready to take Michael Redd down towards the baseline with the quick move, and then an incredible ability to make shots while he's off balance because he squares himself up and gets a good look at the rim. And with about 7.5 minutes remaining now, this could be the serious time for both coaches as far as playing the guys that they want to take them home.
Flip Saunders sending Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett back out of the floor. Jason Kidd gives it up. Allen Iverson back to Kidd. Yes.
And that's the first semblance to me of what looked like real basketball.
I want the rookies and sophomores to watch this too, that there is a competitive part to this game. That it's not just all show, but that it is competition as well.
Both coaches told us they would stay to the substitution pattern as Duncan was able to hit for the 40 minutes, the final 8, different story, and these are the guys, for the most part, who will finish. Here is Kidd for 3. It'll be Bryant, Steve Francis in the backcourt, Duncan, O'Neal, Garnett up front, Shaq. And the West leads 117-116.
If the East is going to win, they're going to have to hit their perimeter shots. They're not going to get to the basket. Look at the front line, Garnett, Duncan, and Shaq. You're not going to get to the rim, so you're going to have to space the floor, and they're going to have to hit a high percentage of their long-distance shots. The West is going to pound it inside.
And a reach-in foul on Artest. Steve Francis sits down, placed by Ray Allen.
This is the MVP front line for the West. When you think about it, though.
Yes.
These 3 guys certainly could wind up being the league's MVP this year.
Ray Allen getting inside for that rebound on the foul. The West leading by 3. And O'Neal is fouled as Bryant came over trying to help out. Second on Kobe.
You know, when I look at Jermaine O'Neal and I see what this young guy did and how he's improved his game from his early years in Portland, I can only think of guys like Kwame Brown and Eddie Curry, Tyson Chandler, these young high school players. If they can get to this level, what a tremendous thing it will be for them to be able to show how good they can be as well.
Welcome back to Staples in Los Angeles. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, the Czar, Mike Fratello. And Doug, from a competitive point of view, I'd have to say that this is one of the better NBA All-Star games.
Well, a couple things. First of all, the East is led by 9, the West by 7, so there's been no big lead by either team. It's been competitive throughout. What I like, 72 total assists, 37 turnovers, so it's not been a real sloppy game. I think guys have done a good job with that.
And Czar, a number of MVP candidates, including a surprise, Jamal Magloire of the New Orleans Hornets.
Jason Kidd you could think of as well. One team, the Eastern team, has 7 players in double figures. The Western Conference team has 6 players in double figures. So right now, I'd like Shaq out front for the MVP award.
Shaquille O'Neal with 20 points, 11 rebounds. Jermaine O'Neal at the line. He's had his ups and downs at the free throw line. Jermaine on the night, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 1 of 3 at the line.
You know, when you think of Jermaine O'Neal also, too, he re-signed with Indiana, thinking Isaiah was going to be the coach. Isaiah was replaced by Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle immediately met with him. It was a long pass to Garnett. Spent a day with him, and I think Jermaine O'Neal did a terrific job getting with him on the same page, and it's been very, very fruitful for Indiana this year.
Yes, Indiana 39-14. They lead the East. That's the second best record in the NBA. Artest of the Indiana Pacers able to get inside. 121-119. The West with the lead. 5.5 to play in the 4th. Kidd came to the blind side to knock it out of the hands of O'Neal.
Doug, let's face it, Jermaine O'Neal probably was the key to the whole thing in Indiana as far as how well was he going to accept Rick Carlisle. And, you know, the players are very, very smart. They know. They can tell whether the guy sitting there coaching him is a leader, is organized, knows what he's doing. So, obviously, after a short amount of time, Jermaine O'Neal decided that Rick Carlisle was not a bad replacement for Isaiah.
Magloire, Tracy McGrady back on the floor for the East. Here's Bryant. Duncan finds the open man. It's Allen for 3.
That guy can really shoot the ball. I tell you what, the West is going to be very careful. You got 2 great guys on the court, Jason Kidd and Iverson, 2 of the best in the league at steals. You better really be careful.
Here's Jermaine O'Neal. Nice move as he showed power and ended with finesse. 124-121. The West with the lead and the ball. Shaq was overplayed by Magloire. Good play as leads to a turnover.
Magloire went for the steal. He just felt that if he stood behind Shaq, he was just going to overpower him. So he took the gamble and paid off.
Magloire.
Get it, boy.
Allen pushing it down net by Iverson. Nice move by Allen. And he's out of bounds. Kobe Bryant tried to back up and step down.
It's very difficult to do to shoot a three from the corner. Your tendency is to want to take a step back. And how many times do you see in a game where a guy steps out of bounds when he's trying to shoot a three from the corner? Come on.
West with 3 turnovers the last 4 possessions. And Iverson is fouled. He was hacked by Allen.
We had 14 total fouls at the 8:22 mark, 7 on each team. You're going to see the competitiveness of the game as teams now will start fouling and forcing free throws rather than all those layups and dunks we saw earlier in the game.
So Iverson to the line. Kenyon Martin is checked back in. Coming on for Jamal McGlory. You see the leaders tonight. Shaq, 20 points. Iverson with just 2 points, but he does have 11 assists.
Doug, you talk about free throw shooting for the West. Their 2 big men up front, Shaquille O'Neal and Tim Duncan, both have struggled this season from the free throw line. So they're going to foul intentionally, put them on the line. If you're the East, there's 2 real good guys out there to go after.
East 7 of 14 at the free throw line, so that has cost them. O'Neal to the drop step. Iverson looking for the steal. Committed the foul.
Well, that's what I was talking about. Iverson and Jason Kidd are going to roam, and every time that ball goes into the post and a guy spins, you can count on one of those guys being back in their lap, digging away. That time Iverson got called for the foul. But watch Iverson come from the backside here. He leads the league in steals, and that's one of the reasons why.
Into the hands of Allen, saved by Duncan. There's Allen trying to put a move on Martin. Martin, one of the better defenders in the league, cut him off. Allen for 3. And the foul as Duncan was all over Kidd. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
One was starter for the East, Vince Carter. It's become a 2-point game. At what point did the strategy change? We came from showtime to actually trying to win this thing.
Probably at the beginning of the 4th. But the idea from the beginning was just play some D and win. We wanted a comfortable lead coming into the 4th just in case things got a little testy and serious. But now it's just all about business.
You're one of the most spectacular dunkers in the history of the NBA. You're also on the floor when Shaq had some of those powerful ones. At one point, Steve Javie has asked if there's an extra backboard on hand in case he pulls this one down. What's it like to be under there when he dunks on you?
Man, it's crazy. You see all the power, then all of a sudden you look up and the goal leaning towards the court, so it's just amazing.
You're the leading vote getter. It's a 2-point game. A lot of people want to see you in there. Go down and tell Rick you want to go back in the game.
I might have to, man. I'm getting stiff over here.
All right, thanks, Barb.
All right, how about the East? 8 for 16 at the foul line.
Get to Craig to stir things up over there on the bench.
The agitator over there.
And the ball back to the East. West up by 1.
Stuffing up the coach. You got Sager over there stirring the pot.
See the all-star voting over the years. Here's Shaquille O'Neal. Jermaine O'Neal right back at the other end.
Shaq had no brakes. He couldn't stop.
Coming up on 3 minutes to go in the 4th, the West up by 1. Duncan lost it, able to recover. Here's Bryant for 3. And Kidd leads the break. Kidd fires it up and draws the foul.
You'll see Shaq take this ball out of the air, actually pick it off, and then lead the fast break. And he sees the opening from the entire time. He starts down the floor, his eyes light up, and then after the finish, he winds up in Ruben Stoddard's lap. He's a star.
Back in Los Angeles, and this view of LA from high atop the Transamerica building, providing us great scenics all night. The last time the NBA All-Star Game was here in Los Angeles back in 1983 at the Great Western Forum, the one-time home of the Los Angeles Lakers, highlighted by Julius Erving's performance. He was MVP of that game.
Marv, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like 1970 or something. Jerry West hit a game winner here in an All-Star game. I was in college. I remember watching the game. Mr. Clutch hit a shot to win the game for the West.
Doug, you're a 4-time NBA All-Star. You coached the team in
1997.
As I said, 1997, and Lazar, coach of the East All-Stars in Chicago in 1988. That was a pretty good starting lineup you had.
We did not have a bad team at all. Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan. Yes, Michael Jordan in the backcourt. Dominique Wilkins, Larry Bird, and Moses Malone as the starting 5.
Just under 3 to go in this 53rd All-Star game. 1-point lead for the Eastern Conference. And Duncan is fouled by Martin. Team foul number 4.
You know, as we head into the playoffs, one of the things that you look for in fourth quarters is the team's ability to execute and also make free throws. And we've seen Duncan all year long struggle at the line. He's shooting about 58%. 2 years ago, shot 79%. And we did a game the other night with Greg Popovich, and he feels like that as he starts getting into more of a rhythm, that he will be shooting them well by the time they get to the playoffs. But I think that's going to be vital for San Antonio.
San Antonio as a team only 66%, which is last in the NBA. And that's been the theme here tonight. It's been poor free throw shooting by both squads. McGrady had a foot on the line. That's a two-pointer. Tracy McGrady of the Orlando Magic with 10, and the East up by 2 with 2:15 remaining in the fourth. Garnett. Here comes Kidd. Iverson. And he's fouled. Took the bump from Bryant.
Allen Iverson changed into the court so quickly on this play, but talk about Kevin Garnett, one of the best defenders in the NBA, is all over Tracy McGrady. Look at him as he goes up, a hand in the face, and he just buries the long 2. But on that long rebound, Allen Iverson was down the floor in a blur, and here again another missed free throw.
Iverson 1 of 3 at the line, so the East now 10 for 19. The West only 2 of 6 at that free throw strike.
Watch him changing into the floor here. He was actually behind the ball when Jason Kidd rebounded the ball, and by the time Kidd took one dribble, he was 2 steps ahead of him. His blazing speed and quickness in the open court just created that opportunity.
There are always questions, Doug. A player like Allen Iverson, who relies so heavily on his speed and quickness, as they get older, will he still be able to achieve the same type of success?
Well, I mean, this guy is so fearless, but there's no question. I mean, if he slows down, I mean, he's probably weighs about 175 pounds, probably 6 feet tall, but has just got an incredible relentless spirit going to the basket. He has to be so frustrated this year, Marv. I mean, his team is out of the playoff race. They just fired Randy Ayers. Chris Ford has taken over. I think it'll be very interesting to watch Philly in this season. Can they get back into the playoff chase?
Allen Iverson also chasing another scoring title and misses on both free throws. Now both teams have 2 timeouts left. They have their 2 full. Here's Shaquille O'Neal from Kobe Bryant, and the game is tied at 1:29.
Well, that was a set play. Flip Saunders took that timeout in between free throws to set that play up.
Shaq has 24. McGrady trying to shake off Garnett, and he did. Tracy McGrady with a beautiful move, and then he went to the left hand.
The ability to finish with both hands, very evident there how important it is.
The East up by 2, a minute and a half remaining. The last year was a double overtime game. Allen unable to hit. Martin's pass picked off by Bryant. And Bryant fires. Yes! Kobe Bryant has tied the game at 1:31.
There's a whole different attitude on the floor right now. You see the sense of urgency each time down.
Well, look at the coaches. Both of them up coaching, calling plays.
Flip Saunders thought it was a 3-point shot by Kobe.
McGrady not able to hit, rebounded by Duncan. Just under 1 minute remaining in this fourth quarter. The game is tied. Here is Garnett wide open. And back comes the East. Iverson looking for McGrady. Allen Iverson has been the assist guy tonight. He has 11 assists. McGrady off the dribble. Stopped by Garnett and then fouled by O'Neal.
Let's go back a second ago when Kobe Bryant stole the ball, ran back behind the three-point. Now watch his feet. Is this a 2 or a 3? Clearly a three-point shot. That's what Flip Saunders was up talking about. They should be up by 1 right now, the Western Conference team.
Question is that reviewable? Can they go over and take a look at that? I guess not, right? Only if it's the last play of the game?
If they adopted the rules I would like to have it, they would be allowed to go back and do it.
Yeah, I would like to see that late in the game because those, especially in a playoff game, maybe not necessarily an all-star game, but a playoff game definitely.
You should have a challenge.
Problem is you'd be stopping the game.
Yeah, but I mean like the last, well, maybe the last 2 minutes of the game or the last minute of the game to make sure you get a shot right.
Just think, Marv, you could carry a little like beanbag around with you and throw it out on the floor. When
you would like that. I think it'd be too many stoppages. And the poor free throw shooting continues. Now a timeout is taken by the West. 11 of 22 at the line by the Eastern Conference. They lead by 1, 35.8 remaining in the fourth. A moment ago, there was a question as to whether this shot by Kobe Bryant was a 3 or a 2, and it looked to be a 3-point shot, although he was credited with a 2-pointer, and a moment ago that was a point of discussion.
Yeah. Here we go, Trace. It's Blaine and my play. You're on the other side of the court. We both didn't see it, so we can't count a 3. We got to count a 2. Well, we didn't see it. We can't look at replay.
This would be one of those opportunities now where if you had a different set of rules, you could challenge it because it could mean the basketball game.
Well, the East up 132, 131 coming up on 30 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Here's Duncan over McGraw, able to take it home. The West leads by 1, and a timeout called by Rick Carlisle.
You like smart coaches like Flip Saunders who remember where Tim Duncan likes to line up on the floor and throw him right where Popovich in San Antonio gives it to him.
Well, he loves that angle bank shot. We know that, Mike. And he finds a spot on the floor where he can kiss it off the glass, softens the shot up, drives it down, gets good penetration there, and then creates space with that shoulder, gives his team a 1-point lead. What do the Indiana coach Rick Carlisle have up his sleeve here now?
Our 26.1 remaining in the fourth. The West by 1. Guys, what do you think Rick Carlisle is planning on this possession?
Well, the first thing is, do you make any substitutions now and bring new people in the game to try and get a mismatch in your particular favor?
Well, what I'd like to have I'd like to have 3-point shooters out there because you see the size of the West. So anything going to the basket, a big guy's going to help. You can kick that out and maybe get a 3-point shot. Question is, who are they going to go to? I think he's going to go to Tracy McGrady. I think you're going to see something with a pick and roll with Tracy McGrady going against Kevin Garnett.
All right, Jason Kidd will throw in. Kobe Bryant will be on the ball. He gets it into McGrady. See Garnett digging in defensively. Now Shaq switches off. McGrady with the lob, and last touch by the East. West in possession with 15 seconds to go.
And Flip Saunders frantically trying to get a substitute in quickly, but didn't have time to get anybody up to the table. He wanted smaller people on the floor, obviously, to handle the ball.
Foul on Iverson, so the East is over the limit.
Well, you could see the strategy there. They went screen roll with Shaquille's man, so Shaquille would have to switch out. And what he did a great job. He got out and forced McGrady to put it on the floor. They collapsed, and he made a very difficult play. But they tried to get Shaq involved in the pick and roll and did a nice job.
Ray Allen, an outstanding free throw shooter, but just 1 for 2 tonight.
You know what Shaq did is by jumping out, Doug, the way he did and chasing McGrady, he chased him inside the three-point line, knowing that he had other big guys to help back there.
Both teams have one timeout remaining. We're down to 14.4. Allen hits on both. It's a three-point game. The West in front, and Rick Carlisle using his final timeout. We're down to 14 and 4/10 seconds remaining in regulation. We'll be right back. The West 135, the East 132. We're down to 14 seconds remaining. Last year in Atlanta, this game went double overtime at halftime. Michael Jordan honored in his last All-Star game. First overtime, score tied at 136, and Jordan hit the fadeaway. That gave the East 2-point lead. Kobe Bryant would be fouled by Jermaine O'Neal, hit 2 of 3 to send the game to double overtime, and Kevin Garnett dominated. The second OG finished with 37 points, and he was All-Star game MVP. The West won at 155 to 145.
If you come out and take a foul here, Doug, with a three-point differential, if you are the Western Conference, put them on the line for 2, but don't give up the 3.
Yeah, I'd like for him to use a little clock. I wouldn't want to take it immediately. I'd like for him to use a little clock if possible.
And Rick Carlisle putting another shooter on the floor. Michael Redd has come on. We're down to 10 seconds. Here's Kidd. It's a three-point ball game. Here's the 3 by Redd. Duncan with the rebound, and he is fouled with 2 and 1/10 second remaining.
The West did a great job because what happened is Jason Kidd penetrated, hoping to draw somebody, and everybody stayed at home on the defense. That's just concentration of not being sucked into the watch this now. See, he stayed alive out there with the Michael Redd and did not give him any space. And then you see Kobe running to get a hand in his face. That's just awareness of what's needed at that point in time.
Now Duncan 1 for 2 at the line. The East does not have any timeouts remaining with 2.1 to go in this fourth quarter and a 3-point lead.
That's all you need right there. That one wraps it up for the Western Conference.
This was a terrific game. From start to finish, well played, competitive. This is the NBA has to be very proud of this game today, Mark.
And the best basketball we saw was in the fourth quarter. There's no question that both teams got serious down the stretch, and the West has defeated the East 136 to 132. So the West has now won 4 of the last 5. Shaquille O'Neal, 24 points, 11 rebounds. Kobe Bryant, 9 of 12 from the field. He had 20 points, so the Laker connection doing the job for the West. While the East with a surprising scoring leader, Jamal McGlure of the New Orleans Hornets, 19 points, along with 8 rebounds, 10 assists for Jason Kidd, 11 assists for Allen Iverson. West 136, East 132. We'll be back with the announcement of the MVP after this.
Thank you very much. It is time now for the presentation of the MVP trophy, and to do that, the commissioner of the NBA, David Stern.
Thank you, Los Angeles. Thank you, TNT, for bringing America this game. Thank you, Clippers, Lakers. Thank you, Staples Center. You look beautiful. And a special thank you to the NBA players, the WNBA players, the legends in the NBA family who spent the week around Los Angeles doing the things that make us proud to be members of the NBA family. And would you please join me in giving all of the All-Stars a great hand for this spectacular effort. But with all of these stars tonight, the star of stars is the MVP of the 2004 All-Star Game with 24 points and 11 rebounds, none other than the Lakers' Shaquille O'Neal.
All right, big fella.
You're taking it from me.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
That's tough to follow. So how cool is it for you in front of these fans on a day like this to walk away with that piece of hardware, Shaq?
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody in LA for supporting me and coming out. I just wanted to come here, have fun today. There's a lot of great players, Garnett, Iverson, a lot of great players on the East, a lot of great players on the West. I just wanted to come have fun. But, you know, the guys were looking for me today. Everybody in the locker room was, you know, wanting me to get it. So I just came out and had some fun, and by the grace of God, I got it.
Things started getting serious there in the last few minutes of that game, especially on the last few possessions. Describe what was going on in the West huddle.
Well, T-Mac got a little hot. He hit a couple threes, but last couple seconds we played good defense, and Mr. Duncan hit some key free throws down the stretch.
The MVP, Shaquille O'Neal. And that is it for TNT's coverage of the 53rd NBA All-Star Game from Staples Center in Los Angeles. The Western winner, Shaquille O'Neal, the most valuable player.